everyone. We are back with the Opinionated thoughtbotter. We are on episode 9 already. I'm Svenja Schäfer, your host of this very opinionated show. I'm also a team lead and developer at Thoughtbot, and I'm looking forward to the next roughly 20-30 minutes. I will talk with Steve, who is my guest today, about one of his opinions. Before we do that, do you want to say a few words about yourself, Steve?
Sure, yeah. Hey, Svenja. So I'm Steve Polito. I'm a developer here at thoughtbot. Just hit 4 years actually, which is cool. I'm excited about that. So
Wow.
yeah, and I think the fact that I'm a developer will play into my opinion either for better or for worse. So keep that in mind uh, as the
I like
discussion
that.
unfolds. But yeah, I am a developer, not a designer. So keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this conversation.
I like that. I like that introduction to your opinion. We will come to your opinion right away. Do you want to reveal your opinion?
I'd be happy to. So I think Bootstrap is the best front end toolkit for a server rendered application, hands down.
Hands down. I do think is this gonna be another spicy episode. I
Yeah.
do remember Bootstrap. I don't know. It feels like Bootstrap is around forever. I mean, you
hmm
said that you were at Thoughtbot for 4 years. I started coding full time 2015. I do think Bootstrap is around since 2011-ish, something. So for me, it is around forever. When did you start to code?
Right out of college, so like 2012, and yeah, Bootstrap was around then. I actually don't know when it's been around, but it has in the context of like websites and technology, it's been around forever.
It is. Yeah. So I guess like when you said that you started around 2012, you've probably seen one or the other framework toolkit come and go. What do you think, or why do you think Bootstrap stayed?
I don't know if it was like the first to do what it's doing, but it definitely does it really well. So maybe I should explain what Bootstrap is for anyone who doesn't know.
Sure.
So I said it's a front end toolkit, and what I mean by that is it gives you a really good foundation for the front end of a website. And specifically here too, I'm talking about server renders. So I want to make that distinction because I'm not talking about building an application with React or something similar like that. I'm talking about Rails or like WordPress or Laravel, like more traditional server rendered applications. And I know
Okay.
like Node.js too. I know that's like server rendered, but I'm talking more like PHP, Ruby, like that type of server rendered.
About the cool things, right? I mean,
Exactly,
we don't want to
exactly.
bash about Node, but I mean, when you have Rails, well,
Right, and exactly. And I can get to that too because I kind of think Bootstrap is sort of like it's like the Rails of the front end where it's like mature and stable, and sometimes people like to rag on it because of that. But that's what makes it so good is it's mature and stable and it solves a lot of the problems that you don't want to have to deal with out of the box. And if you want to focus on making your application do the special things, and like you don't want to have to spend a whole day or week coming up with a design system for buttons and forms because that's kind of a waste of time if it's already done for you. But yeah, so I kind of get a little bit gave away what Bootstrap is, but it does all of that for you. So like you drop it in and all of your forms and buttons and typography all have a consistent look and feel. There's certain classes you need to apply to elements to make that work, but in some cases, just like the reset alone does it goes really far. And then on top of that, so that's just like the CSS stuff, but on top of that, it gives you all of these different interactive components that like you're probably going to need at some point. So like for example, a modal, you get that out of the box. You get off canvas features where like, you click a button and like, a drawer will come out from the side and you can dismiss it. So it comes with like this whole kitchen sink of these really rich components that just work out of the box, and they're accessible too. And because it's a mature platform, they're battle tested. And because they're battle tested and mature, like there's rich documentation on it. So you're never going to be in a situation where you're like, I don't know how to use this thing or customize it because this is so like niche or bespoke. And I guess that it's just like I feel like it's just the rails of the front end. Like it just gives you everything you need out of the box and you're good to go.
I love it
And
so much that you
yeah.
called it it's the rails of the front end. And now I can't say anything against it anymore. No, Steve, you got me. Oh,
Should we
the
end
thing
the
is,
episode?
please cut again. No, the thing is, it's all true. It is mature. It is robust. Robust. If you have a question, someone else had this question most likely before. You will find an answer. You will find multiple answers, similar to Rails. But I don't know. Maybe I'd find a link. I'm not sure. Do you remember the ZERP Foundation?
Yes. Yeah.
I loved it so much because it was kind of, I don't know, I tend to like or prefer supporting frameworks, toolkits, whatever that are not the hip thing. And
Sure.
I mean, Bootstrap was I don't know, it felt like it was the go-to thing from the start. And
Absolutely.
it just like gave so much, but I wanted to have a lesser opinionated front-end toolkit, so to say.
Hmm.
And that's why I stayed with Foundation. But then, of course, there were all these issues I had, and I do think I ended up going back to Bootstrap or another toolkit. You said you want to make sure that we use or that Bootstrap is the best front-end toolkit for server-side rendered applications. What about client-side applications? Why do you want to exclude them?
I wanted to make that distinction because there's such a rich ecosystem for in like the client side space. So, and I guess to be specific here, like client side, I'm thinking like, okay, you're building like a React application or a Next application, like something where the backend is already kind of taking care of you through an API or like Supabase or something, but like you're primarily only working in the front end and therefore you don't have to worry about, you're not responsible for the server generated code. And so typically you're working with like JSON endpoints. So in that case, there's an abundance of front end frameworks. I know I've never actually had to say it out loud, but there's MUI. So it's you either say MUI or you say MUI, like GUI, but with an M.
Oh,
Uh,
yes.
and I guess maybe in the comment section, someone can clarify how you say it. I've never had to say it, but again, I'm a developer, so I don't have to know how to say it. So that's like kind of like Bootstrap like in the sense that it gives you all of these. It's a rich ecosystem of components, like all the way down to like a button, but like larger components like the off canvas stuff. And I feel like that would probably be better than because Bootstrap also has like its own npm package. Like you can use Bootstrap on a React project, but I feel like
Yeah,
there,
exactly. Yeah.
there's more options for if you're strictly doing client side. There's more options in Bootstrap. If you're doing server side, I feel like right now everyone just defaults to Tailwind, and I can speak as to why I don't think Tailwind. I can talk about why I think Bootstrap is better than Tailwind for server side too, because I'm sure people are like, dude,
Yes,
haven't you heard of
please.
Tailwind? Like, Bootstrap is like 50 years old. Like Tailwind is the thing you should be using. So what I'll say about that is I don't have anything inherently against Tailwind. Like, it's not claiming to be Bootstrap. So I think people may conflate or confuse the two. Like, Tailwind is never saying like, yeah, we're trying to be Bootstrap. Tailwind is trying to solve a different problem. But the thing is, like, and again, in server rendered applications, right? It's like Bootstrap gives you a button. You just put button, you put button and button primary on all your buttons, and that's all you got to do. And they look like buttons. And I could talk about customizing them too, because I'm sure people are like, well, yeah, but I don't want my Bootstrap site to look like Bootstrap. We can talk about that in a minute. But in terms of like the Tailwind Bootstrap comparison, for again, for server side, right? Like, with Tailwind, you have to either every single button that's rendered on the page, you have to like add, a bunch of utility classes, or you extract that in using the @apply rule. And that's there's a solution to those problems. But the thing is, it's up to you and the designer to come up with those styles, and you have to account for everything. So like not just the button, but what happens when you hover over the button, or the active state, or the focus state. Like, you have to do all of that, which is a pain in the butt, right? Again, it's kind of like Rails. It's like Rails just does all these things for you, just like Bootstrap. Bootstrap gives you a button class, and it takes care of all of the other states that a button can be in. And again, you can customize the default look and feel of the button. So it doesn't have to be the default traditional bulky blue button with the rounded corners. Like, you can easily customize the default to be whatever you want, and therefore all of the states will also adhere to that look and feel. But that's just buttons, right? Like, that's not a
Buttons are important.
They are important, but that's like, people might be thinking, well, okay, but sell me more on Bootstrap and why I shouldn't use Tailwind, because that's just one thing. There's also like the typography system. Like, Bootstrap just makes all the H1s and the H2s have a correct hierarchy out of the box. So like an H1 will look bigger than an H2, and there's a good like rhythm there. Tailwind has a plugin that does that for you, which is nice, but again, it's like a plugin, so it's like it doesn't come with it by default. And it's more of like a reset type of thing, which is fine, but then you're still on the hook for like kind of styling all the typography. And forms too. Forms is another huge one. Bootstrap just makes forms look beautiful by default. Tailwind, on the other hand, it just like strips all the styles out of a form, and you got to build them back up. And again, you got to account for active state, hover state, error state. Bootstrap just does, again, it does all of that for you. And then again, you can configure it, because you're not going to want it to look like Bootstrap. You're going to want it to look like your branded look and feel. And so these are all like HTML things that we're talking about. Where Bootstrap really shines is like, then it also adds in the interactive elements. So like, have, modals, we talked about that. A flash message where you want to dismiss it, right? So like in Rails, there's the concept of the flash, but it's nice to have that be able to be dismissed. It's a really common thing. Obviously, you could write your own like stimulus controller to do that, but it's like, this is a solved problem. Like, Bootstrap just gives you the HTML and the JavaScript to just do that and do it accessibly. I know Tailwind has Tailwind UI, and that is a reasonable alternative. And I think actually now it does ship with JavaScript. I was checking earlier today. Prior, like, I don't even know when this happened, but in my memory, like Tailwind UI, if you were just doing the server side stuff, it would be like the code snippet would give you the HTML, but then it was like, yeah, but like these are the classes you need to manipulate through JavaScript. Like, good luck. Like, that's on you. So Bootstrap just does all that for you. And that's why I think it's so.
I'm convinced. I mean, there's not that much convincement. I'm not sure if that word exists, needed for me to be pro Bootstrap and against leather pro Tailwind. I don't like Tailwind. This is this is personal. It's I like clean code, and for me, Tailwind is the opposite of it.
Right.
It's just like from a visual perspective, I don't like it, so I don't want to use it. Have you heard of Chakra UI?
I
I'm not sure
don't
if that
remind
exists.
me. It might remind me
It's
what it is.
component as well. I'm gonna Chakra UI. It seems that there's V3 already. Component system for building products with speed. I did like that again because of the reason I try to support like not that known tools. Why did you use Bootstrap in the first place?
I think just like the market share. Like I was, like I said, I started developing full time in 2012, and like Bootstrap was the thing then. Like this wouldn't be a hot take in 2012, right? This would be a boring episode. It'd be like, yeah, well, like what else are you gonna use, man? Like this is unsubscribe. I'm not watching
Who
this. This
are
isn't a hot
you?
take.
Who are you?
Yeah.
The
Um,
opinionated thoughtbotter without an opinion.
yeah, exactly. But this is so I was introduced to it then when it was the cool thing, and I was just like, why? Like I don't need to change. Like this is solving all my problems. And again, I can talk a little bit about how it can be customized because I'm sure people watching this or listening are like,
Sure.
they're like, dude, but
But
Bootstrap.
please remember to, yeah, exactly. How you can beautifully customize it and how you can't customize it. It's so just like a full work of customization Tailwind. If you can do that, I know that would be amazing.
Yeah, I'll have to give that some thought. I mean, like Bootstrap is, I don't think people realize it's meant to be configured. Like there's whole pages of documentation on their site that's like, these are how you change the colors and like pick a color palette. And this is how you change all the components. Like, for example, if you don't want buttons to have a box shadow and a border radius, you can disable that stuff. And by changing the default colors, like the buttons will also pick that up too. And with Tailwind, again, like Tailwind is like you need to work really close. I mean, in either case, you're gonna have to work closely with a designer. But with Tailwind, it's like you don't even have a base for the button. It's like
Everything is customization.
yeah, you got to build that thing up, which again is fine if you're like working really closely with a designer. They can help you with that because all of our designers can code, which is great. So like they can do that for you. But it's also like, man, that was kind of a waste of time. Like we spent all this time doing a button to get all the states, but Bootstrap would have given like you could have done that in like 8 minutes with Bootstrap. Same with all the other, everything that it comes with.
Same with
So
Rails, right? Do you just like spin up a Rails application fully working in what? 5 minutes? 10 minutes?
exactly. Yeah, all the things that every app is going to need, Rails just like does for you. And all the things every front end system is going to need, Bootstrap does for you. I think, and now to, I guess, be a little more open-minded or
No, we are here at
no,
Opinionated
yeah,
thoughtbotter.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. We don't have to do that because I was gonna say, like, yeah, I mean, Bootstrap isn't perfect. Like, it's still using Sass, I believe, at the moment, and Sass is kind of out of vogue. Like, there's CSS has come a long way, so a lot of things that you can do in Sass are like obsolete. But they're working on using more modern CSS and like using variables. So I believe that's like actively being worked on now. Um, so that's like one downside to it. But again, like the documentation is really good. So like configuring your app to use like it's and also the Rails ecosystem comes with a CSS bundling Rails, so you can just run a command and it will make it work with Bootstrap no problem. So like you don't need there's no overhead. You don't have to worry about configuring Bootstrap with Rails. But it kind of the same applies for any front end framework at this point, or server side, I should say, because like again, the market share is there.
What was the worst experience, like from a developer point of view, with a front-end toolkit? And which front-end toolkit was it? Maybe it was Bootstrap. Maybe it was Tailwind. I don't know. Why was it Tailwind?
Oh yeah, why was it? Let's just cut to the chase. Why was it Tailwind? I mean, again, I don't like
No.
have anything against Tailwind. I think so. I'm in this situation now with a with a client project where
Okay.
I have to style all the buttons now, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I don't want to do this right now. Like I just want to put button on the button, and all the states are there. Like again, the active state, the hot, like all those things. So like it's just time consuming, and like the designer we're working with is great. Like she made a beautiful design, and then she has all of the states for buttons and inputs. All like there's a lot of thought and care that is put into them. But now it's like there's no like unless maybe someone in the comments will enlighten me, but I don't think in Figma there's like an export to Tailwind button. And if there is, please let me know. Email me at polito@thoughtbot.com and you can tell me, because I don't see that in
No.
Figma, and I would love for there to be a thing that just does that for me and I can get on with my day. But there's not, so I gotta like write all the classes and then make an add apply rule for the button, and it's just like this could have been, if we had Bootstrap, this would have been done on like the first day.
Okay, so it was Tailwind. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like if we needed to add some like interactive thing, like right now our design is very simple because it's MVP, which is great. But the moment we want to add like some polish, it's going to be like, all right, well, we're going to have to either make our own stimulus controller to do this, or hopefully there's some type of npm package that exists that's like more server side specific. And again, it's just like Bootstrap comes with all that stuff. It comes with
You said
everything.
something so important. 3 characters, MVP. You have to explain why you said maybe it was fine to use Tailwind for MVP. I have the opposite opinion. Why would you
Well, that's
why
a good
wouldn't you
point.
use Rails? Why wouldn't you use Bootstrap? Because MVP, why? I would
I
definitely use Bootstrap.
I think this is the episode that's going to change everything here at Thoughtbot. I'll talk to all the designers individually to let them know what I think, because yeah, I mean, especially with an MVP, right? Like I think you should be using Bootstrap for everything I just said. Like it's going to save you a bunch of time, and like the client will be happy because you ship something quicker. And again, it can be customized, so it's not going to look like, no one's going to go, oh, that's the default Bootstrap theme. And also, as an aside, I know we didn't talk about this. I think the same problems that are plaguing Bootstrap, where people are like, oh, that's a Bootstrap site, that's happening with Tailwind, because people don't customize their Tailwind. They just go to Tailwind UI, copy paste it, and it's like it has a more modern aesthetic compared to Bootstrap, but you're like, oh, that's just like the default Tailwind thing, whatever it is. Like you can just tell when someone just like dumps a Tailwind thing on the site and it doesn't like really match with the aesthetic of the rest of it. So
I'm guilty of that.
oh, I am
I'm just
too.
like, yes. I said like, I don't want my website to look like my Hello World website to look like Bootstrap. So that's why I went to the foundation and I had to create everything on my
Right,
own.
right. But you asked about MVP, and yeah, I think you should be using Bootstrap. And if you're doing prototyping, no brainer. Like that's even more. That's even less. The stakes are even lower. So you don't even have to customize Bootstrap. You can just use it out of the
Exactly.
box with the CDN, and it's like you can click around stuff. It's all going to work, and then you can focus on what matters, which is like what's the end-to-end flow. Like what stuff do we want to capture, and then like you can iterate much quicker because you're not like, oh, I gotta like install 400 packages just to make this modal open and close. Like you get it out of the box.
I do think we can have a full episode about the usage of modals for
Yes.
mobile, because we did not talk about mobile first,
Right.
which was Bootstrap's, how do you say it, slogan? Is it still?
Yeah. No. Yeah. But they I know what you mean. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily like their straight up slogan, but like they did have a mobile. They still do, I think, have a mobile first approach, and they might have
Right?
like kind of brought that into the mainstream more,
Yeah.
especially with like when they came out with the grid, which was very novel at the time. I think like that was the whole point. Was like you think about it in like a one column layout, and then you build up the columns.
I do think it makes sense. So for my head, how I think or how my brain works, it does make sense to start from mobile and then expand it to desktop
Yeah,
or whatever. Yeah, I like the grid. I Thanks for giving me back the love for Bootstrap. I haven't used it in forever.
I
Um,
know people forget it. I think people just think it's like obsolete and old and boring, but it gets the job done. It is so good.
it's mature, it's robust.
Exactly. Exactly.
Documentation is great, same as for Rails. It's
Exactly. And it can be customized. That's the key. People, I think people just forget it. I want to like really
yeah,
drive that home. Like you don't have to make it look like a default Bootstrap site.
nice. Thank you, Steve. Time is over.
Yeah.
Time to rant is over. Time to talk about Tailwind is over. And unfortunately, time to talk for now about Bootstrap is over. Is there anything that you want to finish with?
Just thanks for having me on, and go check out stop what you're doing right now, open up the Bootstrap website, and just like familiarize yourself with the homepage and the documentation. I think you'll be surprised at how much you can get done with it.
Thank you, Steve. That was amazing. For the viewers and listeners, if you don't view it, let us know what you think. And yeah, if you agree, or I don't believe so, but or if you disagree with Steve, and yeah, just like write in the comments, and we will put some links in the description. And to see you next time. Bye.